All right, Nick. The Las Vegas Raiders have a lot of good going for them this season, this offseason. There's been a lot of big moves, a lot of good vibes for the Raiders. But if we look back to last season, there's a lot of down. And one down thing was Alex Leatherwood, first round draft pick for the Raiders. He had a pretty bad year as far as first round offensive linemen, especially guys from Alabama who you're expecting to be ready to goes. He graded pretty poorly, just all around, didn't have a great year, so to speak. But the positive trend is going upwards for Leatherwood. We're hearing that he's been working. Obviously, he has the physical tools, the body, the size to be a great offensive lineman. And he's been putting in a lot of work this offseason. And I'm excited to see how he progressed this training camp. But before we get to this story about Alex Leatherwood, I want the Raiders fans to let me know below. Comment and tell us which Las Vegas Raider out of all of them on the team do you think will show the biggest jump in training camp this season. Let us know which Raider will make the biggest jump in training camp. But Nick, why don't you let us in on this story that you have?
Yeah, so obviously training camp has kicked off for the Las Vegas Raiders, and Raiders.com has this report about Leatherwood. A player that's starting to show his maturation during training camp is Alex Leatherwood. He's been moved around a few places on the offensive line as the coaching staff tests each player's versatility. Nevertheless, Leatherwood has shown fluidity and improvement in his footwork from last year. Josh Jacobs, obviously prominent Raiders running back, has enjoyed the improvement he's seen in his teammate as well. I just see Wood working his butt off every day, Jacob said Saturday. He's one of those first guys out there at the beginning of practice working on his sets and things like that. I remember having a talk with him, telling him, if you keep putting in the work, everything else is going to pay for itself. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. All right, Maya, so you brought it up. Leatherwood did not have a good rookie year last year for the Raiders at all, to put it mildly. His PFF grades are really, really dismal. I know you've got the specifics there. I'll hand it off to you shortly, but I really like a guy who recognizes he had a rough go of it. Obviously, I'm sure the people around him, his coaching staff, pointed this out as well. But I love a guy who's willing to put in the work on his own and do that extra work, coming in before practice, getting his pass sets in. And just, to let people know how training camp is for an offensive lineman. I was an offensive lineman in college. When you get there in practice, you're there 45 minutes before practice with your coaching staff before practice even starts. So if Leatherwood when you say start a practice, really practice actually starts, kind of drills and stuff, about 30, 45 minutes before it officially starts. If Leatherwood is getting out there before everybody else to work on additional stuff as additional sets, we're talking about a guy who's, an hour before anybody gets out there. I mean, he's beating like the equipment guys out there working on his sets and things like that, which I really love to see from a guy like Leatherwood.
Yeah, no, and I want to take a look at these PFF stats from last season for Leatherwood. Obviously, we see he graded out at a 45 overall, which is not good. Hit a 29 pass blocking grade. That is as low as you can get, really. That's a very dismal pass blocking grade. Bright side, 62 run blocking grade, but he's always had the size. He's always had the frame, like huge legs, huge arms, could move guys around. That's always been his strength. So the run blocking game was somewhere where he kind of did okay last year. But some other things I want to point out is he had 14 penalties last year. That is something that can be cleaned up, like you said, with extra practice, extra work. He allowed 8 sacks, which is a pretty big number. He was a liability, so to speak, on that offensive line. But if you say, like you said, if he's getting there, if he cleans up his reps in the pass blocking game, if he can bring that pass blocking grade up just to mediocre, clean up the penalties, you're going to see a tremendous improvement in Leatherwood. I think all you want, so to speak, as a Raider here, is for Leatherwood not to be a liability on that offensive line. You want a reliable guy who can come in. He doesn't yet have to be, Joe Thomas, Trent Williams. He doesn't have to be a world beater. He just has to be able to go up to that line and you not have to worry about how many times is he going to get beat this game, how many times is Carr going to get sacked before he can get the pass off. If he can do that, I think that is going to be a tremendous upgrade for this year compared to last year.
Well, yeah, and I want to point out exactly kind of what that report detailed, him working on his sets. So when you hear a guy work on his sets, you're talking about pass sets, which is how an offensive lineman gets out of his stance and gets set up, get his feet in the right position, his body in the right position. Because a guy like Leatherwood, like you said, has all the physical tools. But one of the problems with some of these offensive linemen that come through the ranks and are really successful, like Leatherwood, obviously 5-star recruit, went to Alabama, all SEC, all that kind of stuff, is that they get used to just being able to be a better athlete, bigger, stronger, faster than their competition, which in the NFL, obviously everyone's big, strong, fast, scary, good athlete. So it's a different game. You have to be more technically refined and understand, how to get out of your set, how to work on footwork and things like that. So I understand why Leatherwood had really kind of a tough transition last year. He was kind of used to just mauling everybody, being just a better athlete. Doesn't work in the NFL. And again, like the fact that he realizes that he needs to work on his footwork and he's getting out early and working on his pass sets and his footwork, I think we're going to see big strides out of Leatherwood, because so much of fixing these problems is just putting in the time and getting in the reps.
All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.